Alright, let's jump into it. Take
Good
it
luck,
away.
man. Okay, so we got ToD fighting for the beautiful European continent, and iNcontroL for the US of A. On Abyssal Reef as the first map, a beautiful PvP, the third series in the EsportsEarnings Caster Invitational, and it's going to be two massively popular casters, iNcontroL versus ToD. These two proper heavyweights of the StarCraft scene, taking it up one-on-one against each other. What a world we live in that we are allowed to witness such such greatness, such brilliance, high-level PvP. I hope you guys are just as hyped as I am, because I am hyped, that's for sure. The PvP meta has been a little interesting lately, but I don't think any of these guys are going to have any regard to the meta, so we'll just see what happens. Gonna have a blast watching this. Because the good thing about disruptors is that if you're not classic and deer and you're controlling disruptors, it will always look terrible. Like if you're not the best player in the world, you're gonna look terrible. Like, even most pro players, when using disruptors in PvP, they look awful. So seeing two casters fight it out with disruptors, and this is like a dream come true. You can talk so much shit, smack. Just wouldn't want to swear. It's going to be amazing. ToD actually opening with a 1 gate expand. This is a build that hasn't been played in this matchup since 2013, but ToD is reinventing the meta. And iNcontroL actually doing the correct response, proxying a pylon. Wait, iNcontroL also took the gas. Yeah, this looks terrible for ToD. Like, I feel like iNcontroL could just 4-gate and kind of kill ToD. Like, he's gonna have no units. He's going to struggle to get a mothership core out and get warp gate at the same time. Yeah, he can't afford warp gate, so he's getting an adept first, but adepts are totally useless in defending against anything. You should really build a second gate at this point, ToD that is. Otherwise it's going to be even harder. You guys can't see, but Jeff is proxying a pylon on the 3rd base location of ToD, and there's a gateway there as well. It's going to be 3-gate and a Stargate at home for iNcontroL. So it'll be 3-gate Stargate, most likely an Oracle, and he's sending the mothership core offensively, so it might even be some kind of pylon rush with it. Yeah, I'm really curious how ToD is going to be able to defend this. He has no units except for the mothership core at home. He's getting 2 more gateways, chrono boosting the warp gate like a madman. 1 zealot and a mothership core against 2 adepts at the natural. Loses 3 probes immediately without any damage on the adepts. iNcontroL decides to shade into the main. I don't think he should let this shade finish, honestly. It's just going to be an overcharge, and it probably will. Actually, ToD decides not to overcharge. Loses 1 more probe only and kills 2 adepts. So that was a very good trade for ToD. He's ahead in probe still. His warp gate is about to finish, and he has all of his overcharges remaining on his mothership core. He also sent the adept to the other side of the map, and right now is killed 2 workers. Jeff had to warp in 2 adepts at home. And this is a pretty crazy game already. Twilight Council going down for ToD, but ToD just needs to survive. ToD, you don't need to tech at all. Get some units, keep your mothership core, your natural. Maybe a 4th gate, maybe a robo, but you don't need Blink or a Dark Shrine. All you need is to not die at this point and you'll be fine. Oracle almost done for iNcontroL. Still has his mothership core on the other side of the map as well, so that could be a little annoying if it gets into the main base. ToD scouting with his zealots, sees 2 adepts shading in, so he should be a little suspicious at this point. He saw that there was no nexus at home for iNcontroL either, so I'm not sure what ToD's plan is here, but it's going to be a rough hold. Jeff is moving in, gets 1 Stalker for free, gets a 2nd Stalker for free. And now ToD realizes what's happening. Oracle's going to go to the main base, where ToD has left 0 Stalkers to defend. This is going to be rather rough for him. iNcontroL gets 2, 3, 4 probes, gonna get 3 or 4 more. And he still has the Stalkers behind the mineral line of the natural of ToD. ToD does pick one off. iNcontroL decides to recall out. Gets 12 probes with the Oracle though. So it's going. The worker count right now is 18 against 25. And ToD is up a base. He has a few more Stalkers, I guess. Yes, 3 more Stalkers, and he has Blink on the way. But I'm still feeling iNcontrol's position a lot more. ToD is not probing up too much. Second Oracle about to fly in as well. He's gonna get 1 or 2 more probes. Oh, no, decides to just tag it. I think he could have got 1 or 2, but it's fine as well. So good response by iNcontroL so far. I think the defense by ToD was fine, but just the build that he picked, decided on, was not a good build. Like, I don't think this build is viable at all. I think we saw the weakness of it as well. He is about to finish Blink though, and probably will go for a counter attack, but I don't think this is any chance of working, honestly. Of course, he doesn't know what Jeff has at home. He can't see what I can see. Jeff is chrono boosting out an Immortal as we speak, getting a couple more probes. Jeff is ahead by 8 workers at this point, so a little bit of an income lead. ToD needs to do something to come back. Warps in 1 adept, probably just for scouting, but I wouldn't mind seeing a second adept to try and kill some probes. Because at this rate, it's just going to fall behind further and further. Oracle of Jeff trying to make something work in the main base, but ToD has plenty of units positioned there with Blink. Probably just waiting for Jeff to fly in so he can Blink on top. Or maybe ToD didn't. Okay, yeah. Okay, he noticed. Here we go. Blinks on top of the Oracle, gets 1 Oracle, which is really nice. If you manage to keep your Oracles alive in a PvP, it can be a massive deal. You can get stasis traps. The other guy always needs to leave units at home, so it's a massive advantage to have them on the map. We actually see Jeff starting Void Ray production as well, so he might be opting to either go for Skytles or to go for some Immortal Void Ray push. We see a Forge coming out of Jeff as well, or iNcontroL. So most likely going to be Skytles, actually. Prison being started for ToD. Or maybe ToD wants to do an attack. But he's also sending a probe to the 3rd. Sees the 3rd gateway of iNcontroL there. He's gonna take that one out. 1 adept being sent across the map. Very curious indeed. Yeah, iNcontroL is definitely preparing for the... Wait, what? He's getting +1 ground attack. And a Twilight Council, but he's also getting Void Rays. So I guess he's not playing Airtools, but he's just getting Void Rays to just do some damage, I guess. It's not very often that we see that. ToD gets caught by a stasis trap, gets his own 3rd base up, sees that there's the intention for iNcontroL to take the 3rd base as well. ToD is kind of evening up the worker supply at this point, but I feel like his army is just way inferior at this point. Doesn't have any upgrades, or any attack upgrades. He does have the Resonating Glaives, of course, just finished, and he has Blink, but no attack upgrades. And on the other hand, we see iNcontroL going all out on the upgrades. He's getting air weapons, he's getting +1, he's getting charge. iNcontroL is buzzing at this point. He has so much money, spending it all day. This guy's a spender, that's for sure. Wants all the upgrades. ToD takes down 1 Python, loses a Stalker in return. Not that big of a deal. Probably wants to do some multi-pronged aggression with the Prism. Also has a DT actually, didn't even see the Dark Shrine. But in a game between ToD and iNcontroL, I would be surprised to not see any of these. These guys are the legend when it comes to Dark Templar usage. So I bet what ToD is going to do is poke forward with the Stalkers, try to get the iNcontroL out of position, and fly in with the Prism. with 4 DTs into the main base, snipe the robo. I mean, this is some sick strategies. And then shade into the natural with 4 adepts. Yeah, that's exactly what he's doing, actually. This is a great... Come on, snipe the robo, ToD. You can do it. There's already 2 observers, so it won't be that big of a deal, but it's going to be sick. Stalkers moving into the 3rd base as well. Let's see if he controls it. Yeah, he does control the Stalkers. Gets 10 probes already. The 4 DTs in the main are going mental. 17 workers, 18 workers down within seconds. And right-clicks the robo. This is the most ToD thing I've seen in my life. Just right-clicking the robo. He's actually getting a lot done with this. And at home he's just slowly probing up, getting charged by himself. Doesn't have a forge, so he will be behind in upgrades. But this was a great trade for ToD. Really taking down a lot of the economy that iNcontroL had. So the economy lead is pretty much gone to ToD at this point, but he has no upgrades, and I'm really starting to worry. He has plenty of money to go around. Could throw down double forge. Hey, he could throw down triple forge with the amount of money that he's having. 1.5k, 1k. This guy is saving up for the carrier switch. Doing some cute harass, but spend your money, ToD. To supply could be so much higher. A couple of DTs still doing some work in the main base and the natural. I feel like iNcontroL should just rebuild the robo, get a couple of cannons as well. ToD actually doing really well with the harass, going crazy. Take a look at his first person view, so I can see what you guys are seeing. Some sick Blink Stalker micro. Gets this Stalker as well. Unbelievable. Oh, okay, so the prism goes down, so the fun basically ends here, I guess. Yeah. And now ToD is getting his own forge. Getting a fort base as well. It looked pretty bad for Jeff at the start, but because it took so long for ToD to kind of transition out of the harass, iNcontroL was able to build a lot of probes back already. So the supplies are kind of equal. 124 for ToD and 119 for iNcontroL. But iNcontroL has +2 and ToD only has +1 star. Oh, nice snipes from the Archon though. This is actually a real nice Blink Stalker task force here. Second Prism on the way as well. Little skirmish in the middle of the map. I bet it's going to be DTs again. Yeah, actually another DT in the natural as well. My ToD is everywhere. His harassing is on point, that's for sure. Here come the Stalkers, taking down the cannon at the 3rd base. I think if he would have just right-clicked that base, he might have gotten it, but this was probably better. DT gets in, 4 DTs, actually 3 DTs, 1 DT, 3 Stalker, bleh, 1 DT, 3 Zealots being warped in the Prism, as well as 3 Zealots just outside. So he's going to send the Zealots to the natural. The Prism goes to the main again. Basically the same trick as before, except he's up in supply this time. He's getting the upgrades, he has a fort base. He has plenty of money to go around. I'm really digging ToD's position in this game. And he's playing a very interesting style of StarCraft, but a very entertaining and a very multitask-heavy style, that's for sure. So we see the drop in the main doing quite a bit of damage. The Stalkers are returning back home, probably scared of some kind of counter-attack. The 3 Zealots going into the natural. There was a DT in the 3rd as well. And ToD is playing this out great. 3 things happening at the same time, almost every single time ToD is doing something. Another warp in the main base of iNcontroL. Probably will be able to take out these Templar Archives, will he be? I just won't be able to do it. 33 HP left. ToD scouts forward, managed to snipe 1, 2 High Templars, and boom, blinks out again. Good trades coming out for ToD, that's for sure. +2 on the way for him as well. 2 more DTs being warped in on his side of the map. Might use it for an Archon. Might just use it for some harass. I think it's just going to be an Archon. Another Prism coming out for ToD as well. There's still a DT on the left side for him, but this time iNcontroL is prepared. Has 2 cannons at his natural, has an observer to spot for everything. So I don't think ToD will be able to do very much with this 1 DT. He's just going to check for the forward base, and that's a wise decision. ToD has enough of his harass, like, alright, I did enough damage, now it's your turn to come to me. And I think it's too late for Jeff to do a lot, actually. ToD has a massive army. Has a good army as well, 4 Archons against only 2 Archons for iNcontroL. He has a couple of sentries which can force field. The only thing that worries me a little bit is the Void Race, but here we go. A bit of an interesting blink there by ToD behind his Nexus. Gets a lot of hallucinations going. Stasis going down, catches 1 Archon and 2 hallucinations. Nice micro coming out of Jeff, moving back a little bit with the Void Race, so not all Stalkers can fire, but I just don't think it's going to be enough. Still 3 Archons alive for ToD. Another big... Oh, actually, iNcontroL might be able to... this is a very, very close fight for sure. 1 more Archon going down for ToD, and on the ground there is 3 Immortals with +2, and these guys hit hard, that's for sure. Hallucinations being completely ignored. ToD needs to either sack this base or get a lot more... I'm not sure how he's going to be able to hold this. ToD dropping heavily in supply as well. Right now 78 supply against the 121 of iNcontroL. And this DT won't save you now, ToD. There's an observer here. Man, these Void Rays did a lot of damage. They did have +1. There was 3 Immortals on the ground with +2 as well. I feel like Jeff should just try to kill ToD at this point. Worker count is equal, slightly more income for iNcontroL though. Probably because he has more minerals because of all the harass. So has more minerals left. But it's 84 supply for ToD against the 140 supply of iNcontroL. So iNcontroL kind of taking back the game that was his originally. 4th base coming down for ToD as well as for iNcontroL at this point. Yeah, this is just looking great for the American. And ToD must be sweating one out right now. Sweating it for sure. Gonna try to do something similar as before. Prism on the way once again. Going to the left with the Stalkers. But iNcontroL has similar plans. Also sending a Prism to ToD side of the map. Just outside of his natural. Probably going to be some Zealots. I don't think iNcontroL has a Dark Shrine. No, he does not. Second Forge coming down for iNcontroL as well. So he's not only going to have a massive supply lead, but also an upgrade lead. Which will be annoying for ToD. Yeah, 4 Zealots being warped in for iNcontroL will try to harass the natural of ToD. But there's not much to harass in the natural for ToD. There's 5, 6, there's 11 probes and there's a cannon. What are you going to do with these probes? These can just run away. There's no real mineral patches to speak of. I'm liking iNcontrol's position a lot this game. So a miracle would need to happen, like a hidden base staying alive for 3 or 4 minutes. That might be able to get ToD back in the game. Maybe some magical DTs, but iNcontrol's pretty prepared for the DTs at this point. Getting cannons at every base, a gateway wall on his 3rd as well. He isn't getting tricked by the Stalker shenanigans that ToD has been doing all game. And he's just climbing in the supply. Up 50 supply. Plenty of gas in the bank as well, so if he really wants to, he could warp in a bunch of High Templars, add 4 or 5 Archons. ToD on the other hand is really struggling to get any money together whatsoever. Has a very similar income, but it's just so far behind. In terms of supply and upgrades, it's going to be a rough fight, that's for sure. Yeah, ToD not really able to do anything at this point. Wants to get in the natural to snipe the cannons, but there's just too much going on. And here comes iNcontroL with the harass. 2 Archons being dropped into the natural. 10 Zealots going into ToD's 4th base. And what does ToD really have? Nothing. Warps in 3-4 High Templar, but that won't be enough. Another big warp in of Zealots in the main base as well. Archons getting cleaned up in the natural, but there's still a bunch of Zealots running around in the 4th base and a bunch running in the main base, taking out all of the pylons that power ToD's production. So ToD won't be able to produce anything. And this is the cue for iNcontroL to go for it. He's moving across the map with his 3-2 upgrades about to be done. And ToD is not even close to the +3 yet. It's about 40 more seconds. This is going to be a hard one for ToD for sure. The Zealot's still alive in the main base, but DTs will be able to clean that up over time. Here comes ToD himself, loses the Prism in iNcontrol's base. 2 Archons die against the overcharges and the cannon. 2 more DTs and a Zealot being sacrificed to the overcharge overlord. Ay, ay, ay. Look at the supply. GG. As he had 92 supply against 165. And ToD loses his first game of the tournament.
RIP!
Ay, ay, ay.
It's tough, man.
Yeah, it's tough.
Didn't think he would scout so early.
Yeah, that was unlucky. You got very far behind at the start. But then for a while, after all the harass, I thought, you know, you might be coming back a little. It looked decent for you, but then the fight at your fort was...
I'm surprised he had this much, actually. I thought I was winning. When he went for the big attack, I thought I had it.
Ah, but you're, like, I don't think you understood how bad your start was. Like,
no, I knew it was bad, but then I killed a lot. And then I was set up defensively, but I don't know. Like, he was going to attack my natural, I had a lot of pylons there, and then I think if he had gone for my natural, it would have been good for me, because I would have had a lot of overcharge, but instead he went on the 4th, like he moved back. And I had not many pylons there, and then, so like, yeah, not many overcharges, and then also the, what's the name?
Stasis?
No, the Void Rays, they only shot like my units, they didn't actually waste time on the hallucinations, so I guess he had an observer in the back of his army. Usually a lot of people, they will suicide their observer. Okay, let's see what map. Actually, I didn't even want to do that build, but I was thinking about everything else, so I did my PvT build.
Yeah, I was wondering.
I need to focus more. This is not a PvP build. God, the French stream is really weird. They're just like messaging me, yo. I don't know what's up. I don't know what these guys are doing. Alright, I will try to do better. At least my opener should be a PvP opener, hopefully, this game.
Yeah.
That would be good. What was the supply at the end?
At the end? 92. Against 168, I think.
Yeah, he had way more. He had actually quite a few upgrades with this.
Yeah. He went double forge after a while.
Typical iNcontroL. I don't think it's even that useful, the armor upgrades, is it? I guess now it was a weird game and we're playing with a lot of gateways, but if you play like Disruptor and stuff, it's gonna be useless.
Yeah.
Who's missing? Jim Rising. I almost broke him, man. I killed a lot in his main. Actually.
Yeah, I was very close to breaking him, actually.
Maybe I should have committed more to the warp-ins. Maybe even warped in a couple stalkers, but if he sends the Void Ray, then it's pretty hard. I mean, it was like a terrible start, regardless. I knew he had the Stargate, but I still sent everything to my natural, like... I made way too many probes. It's like my biggest weakness, I think. I always make too many probes and then die to like what I know is like a one-base commitment. We're just waiting on Jim Rising and then we'll get going. He played pretty good.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
I didn't know how well he was gonna play. A lot of people were counting Jeff out actually. When I spoke with some people, not gonna mention any names, but they thought that like he was gonna be like me and Coca or something.
Ah, Jeff's on the roll, man.
Yeah. He's streaming as well too. Jeff is good.
Yeah, but he has sound. So you do have some excuses ready.
Is he commentating though? I don't know.
Nah. I don't think so. Maybe after the games, but not during.
Alright,
way too focused.
Alright, Take it away, man.
So you heard it from the man himself. Terrible start playing a PvT build. What a guy. Oh, what a guy. Now we got map number 2 between the two titans of this group. ToD and iNcontroL. I'll be following our French legend with you guys, the top esports earner with 172,000 dollars in esports earnings. It's just crazy. Crazy amount of money. More than 6 times the amount of all the other competitors in this tournament combined. Which just makes you think, how much better can one man really be? And well, apparently more than 6 times as good as everyone else combined. That's the answer to the question. I hope this time we're going to see an actual PvP build. Because I felt like ToD was playing a lot better in the mid game last game. Just was the issue really was the start. It was so terrible. And if you're down like 7 probes or 8 probes, it feels like everything you do is going to be kind of useless. Like you can do so much damage, but if you're behind at the start, like it matters so much more. You're going to be behind for the rest of the game pretty much. To be fair, at a certain point I thought he had it, or well, like was kind of coming back, but his upgrades were so terrible. Like he had 0-0 against +2, and iNcontroL also had +1 air attack for some unexplainable reason, which is quite interesting. So you see this kind of early scout again by iNcontroL. This time ToD is opening with the 2 gates. iNcontroL trying to block the natural of ToD. I don't know. Casters. ToD is forgetting the second pylon. That's gonna be... It's gonna be a... Okay, here we go. That's a little late though. I'm sure he's pissed already. Like, oh my god. I cannot believe it happened. He's probably gonna watch back the VOD. Beat me up next time I see him. Nothing too special coming out of either of these players so far. ToD opting to get a little later mothership core, getting 1 more probe than usual. Oh, and iNcontroL is doing something sneaky. He's hiding the probe in the main base of ToD. This is a move that we don't see anymore, so a lot of people stopped scouting in their main base. But I feel like ToD is one of those guys that's very systematic. So he might be, you know, he might scout it. He might just rally his mothership core over it. That'd be sick. So yeah, ToD scouts everywhere, even scouting like behind his natural. Like no one does that. This guy is sick. It's very nice to watch. Oh, still paying attention? Yeah, he is. He saw the probe. Yeah, nice try iNcontroL. Maybe next year, not this time, but maybe next esports. Casters in. What's this? Pylon rush? Mate, that's not actually a strategy. Look, the mothership core is being caught in the middle of the map. 2 adepts making his way over across the map, and both pylons will get cancelled. So, pretty unsuccessful pylon rush, that's for sure. 2 adepts going into the main base. ToD just uses the overcharge. 2 probes go down. Yeah, it remains 2 probes. 2 probes for 2 adepts. That's a great trade for ToD. And ToD already has 5 stalkers on the map. Chrono boosting warp gate. He's probably gonna throw down a pylon and try to do some kind of push, because this went great. He forced a recall on their mothership core, so there's only 1 overcharge at this point, and it's 5 stalkers for ToD against only 2 of iNcontroL. 2 more on the way for iNcontroL must be added, and his warp gate is a little faster than ToD's, but with some good Warcraft 3 micro, maybe ToD will be able to do it. So I'm curious. He should actually already be moving forward to force the first overcharge, but as he doesn't do it, it's going to be a little rough to break in. Let's see what he'll be able to achieve with these stalkers. Gets the sentry. Oh, doesn't get the sentry. Loses 1 stalker himself. Yeah, not the greatest of trades. And there's a second overcharge immediately, because he waited a bit to force the first one. So, yeah, I don't think this This pressure is going to be too successful. Probe counts are equal. Twilight Council being built for ToD. ToD actually has 3 gates, not just 2, which is quite advantageous. And this could be a fight actually that ToD can win. There's no overcharge left. ToD is ahead in Stalkers, focus down the Sentry, focus down another Stalker. ToD is up in Stalkers, 6 Stalkers against 5, 6 against 4. Targets down the Warpick in Stalker. Man, this is actually pretty decent. Needs to pull back his weakened Stalker. So hello ToD, man, you played Warcraft for 8-10 years. Micro. Still looking good for ToD though. Not building probes in the back, but can be forgiven. Does he get one more Stalker and then just leave? Okay, yeah, gets one more Stalker and decides to retreat back home. Is up 4 probes at this point. But decides to just keep warping in Stalkers. I'm not a massive fan of this plan. I feel like he should probably get a couple more probes. And he doesn't have a pylon in his natural either. And iNcontroL is warping on 2 adepts on the other side of the map. So that might be a little dangerous for ToD. ToD is getting a pylon, but it's going to be too late. 2 adepts getting into the natural get 1 kill, 2 kills, and those kills are going to add up for sure. ToD decides to pull all of his probes to the main base, which probably is the right call. At the same time sending 2 adepts into the main base of iNcontroL. And iNcontroL didn't respond in time. And there's actually no mothership core for iNcontroL. ToD's getting a lot of kills with those 2 adepts. If he target fires well, he's gonna get 2-3 more. And the kill count's racking up on these bad boys. And right now the worker count is 27 for ToD against only 20 for iNcontroL. So that was a good trade for sure. However, I like iNcontrol's army a little more with the 2 Immortals. Against the no Immortal build that our good friend ToD is going for. ToD also is not mining from his natural at all. So he doesn't really have an income lead, even though he has more probes. Okay, so pretty good defense by ToD. He wasn't really prepared at all in his natural. Blink is about to finish for him, but I would love to see a Rolex facility and a Forge being thrown down at the same time, because he really needs to work on that tech and the upgrades. It's really rough to fight Immortals with just Stalkers, even if they have Blink. It's going to be pretty bad. Bad run by here for iNcontroL, gets caught. Don't think he should have let that Shade finish. ToD does reveal that he has Blink and catches a 4 Adept, oh actually a 4 Zealot Warp in that iNcontroL was planning on. Everything pretty much getting shut down for iNcontroL. And ToD will see the push out across the map, should probably just retreat back up. Oh! Can't blink up, man. No, ToD! He loses every single Stalker that he had over there. He's building a second pylon, should start an Immortal as well. His gates are ready to warp into. This is looking very bad for ToD though. He has a lot of workers, but he just doesn't have the army to beat this. To beat the army that iNcontroL has. Pylon goes down, which was overcharged. If iNcontroL just moves out of the overcharge for a bit, this should be very difficult for ToD to hold. Trying to poke at the Immortal. Needs to pull the probes again. If he doesn't do that, how is he ever going to hold? There's no adepts for iNcontroL, which is good for ToD, so the probes might be able to do something, but I feel like it might just be enough. The Immortal pops from the main base. Once that one will join the fray. Oh, actually, this was a good defense by ToD. If he managed to catch the escaping Immortal as well, by blinking after it, that actually would be great. Activates the shield with 1 blinking forward. Should not lose that. Lose the Stalker. Lose the second Stalker. Yeah. Okay. Not the greatest chase, but we'll count it. Neither of the players actually getting a Forge, so it's a little surprising. Not a big fan of upgrades or macro games, I guess. ToD moving across the map with his Blink Stalkers, and actually dropping the Forge as well, so that's a good move. iNcontroL really has nothing going for him at this point. He has less units, less upgrades, no third base on the way. ToD actually getting the third base on the gold, which I kind of like, because he does have map control, and neither of them have a lot of probes. And if you have very little probes, the gold obviously is better. Especially this gold, it has so many mineral patches, just the regular 8 mineral patches, but a single gas. So it's going to be very rich once he starts saturating that one. And he does have the map control, so it's not like iNcontroL can push across the map and try and kill him. ToD has the better army, and he's getting the +1 on the forge right now. So I'm really digging his position. Yeah, iNcontroL isn't sure what to do. To be honest, I'm not too sure what he can do either. He's getting a Twilight Council now, probably wants to get his own Blink, or maybe get a Dark Shrine. That sounds like an iNcontroL thing to do. And probably the correct call, like he needs to get back in the game, he needs to do something. I wouldn't mind seeing a Robo Bay. I haven't seen a Robo Bay all series long. I was looking forward to some juicy Disruptor hits and some terrible splitting, but instead we got these very scrappy games. Very fun, but scrappy games. iNcontroL probably trying to secure his own third base, making sure nothing's there. Dodging his army. Going to check the other third base. And he has his own gold up as well right now. So ToD really doesn't need to do anything. He can just sit back, relax, macro up. I can take a look at the income tab. And ToD is severely outmining iNcontroL at this point. 2300 minerals a minute for ToD against the 1300 minerals, 1400 minerals for iNcontroL. iNcontroL starting his own Blink right now. ToD getting the +2, adding 2 more gateways. Wouldn't be surprised to see him add a 4th base sometime soon. Getting a few cannons as well, scared of the DTs obviously, which is a wise decision. And ToD is just checking around to see if there's a third base. And as long as there's no third base for iNcontroL, there's no reason for ToD to do anything on the map. He just needs to survive. Like, he's outmining him by so much. And if this continues for, I would say, just 1 more minute, I feel like there's no way for iNcontroL to come back. Like, he just has less money. He'll need to take the best fight in the world. But if you have the same kind of units, how are you going to get a better fight? Especially if you have worse upgrades as well. So I'm very curious what iNcontrol's plan is here. But yeah, I have a hard time seeing this work. ToD trying to get some kind of blink in the main base, but Jeff is kind of seeing it through. Repositioning some of his units. Ooh. Ah, the good old observer snipe into robo snipe there. But he doesn't have a dark shrine, so it would have been sick though if that would have worked. That would be a cool way to end the game. Yeah, ToD just slowly building up his army, getting 3 more gateways added on right now. 1 more cannon on his third base as well. Yeah, there's really no... The pressure is not on ToD. Like, the ball is in iNcontrol's court, that's for sure. Charge about to finish up, as well as +2 for... And I can tell you one thing, Stalkers against Zealots. It's once the Zealots get charged, those Stalkers aren't that powerful anymore. You're gonna need some charge slots for yourself, or you're gonna need some adepts to deal with those charge slots. But Stalkers against charge slots is not a good way to fight, my friend. But iNcontroL doesn't seem to really care. Not any tech coming out for him whatsoever. ToD doing some harass with a single adept, getting 4 workers. Not too shabby at all. Still trying to do damage with his Stalker squad. I wouldn't mind seeing a 4th base for ToD sometime soon now. Just on the other hand, he doesn't really need to do much. I think the perfect timing for ToD to attack right now would be the moment the 3rd base finishes for iNcontroL. That's the maximum of money he invested at that point without any return. But instead, okay, yeah, ToD is finally moving across the map. I think he realizes how big his army is and how far ahead he actually is. He's up 30 supply, he has the better army composition, he has the better upgrade, so he should just be able to walk over this army that iNcontroL has. Sad to see no Archons here to break the force field, but I don't think it's going to matter at all. Immortals completely shrekking this army of iNcontroL, and yeah, this is dominance by our French Protoss player. There's no other words. Complete annihilation of this American. Wow.
Not bad, not bad.
Not bad, not bad, not bad. That was
damn, man.
a scrappy game once again, my
yeah.
friend. It was a lot better for you this time, though.
He's taking the aggression to me quite a bit.
Yeah.
Adepts coming in and stuff, I didn't really expect that. I thought he would just start at
Yeah,
Nexus.
once I saw those two adepts in your natural, I was like, eh.
Yeah.
That looks a bit bad. But then at the same time, you got 2 adepts in and they killed like double the amount of workers.
Alright, what map? Let's see. When you watch the last game, when walkers are dying, do you see it on the left-hand side?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Okay, well, I forgot to put it this time, but like it's the WCS thing mod.
Mm-hmm.
I'll host it from the next games onwards every time. It's better like this, I guess.
Yeah, I think so too.
I didn't have the sickest FPS in some of these fights. Bit weird. Ultra is no joke, man.
Yeah, it's taxing on your PC.
Yeah. It's funny because like I didn't get a robo for like a long time, and I was like, what if he goes DTs? It's iNcontroL. I need to be careful and stuff. I was like, it was on my mind like all the time. I can see.
Yeah, I saw you build like 2 or 3 cannons at your 3rd base as well.
Like, yeah, I was like, what's the one way? What's the one thing he could be doing right now that would be really bad for me?
Yeah. Yeah, it was a pretty clean victory after the start, I think. Actually, for a second I thought it was going to be a bit hard, the defense, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, it was weird. I don't think he put the best effort into controlling the adepts on my side of the map. You know, like he just stood next to pylons and stuff every time.
Yeah, but like he was busy defending his own stuff as well, so
yeah.
Can't really blame the guy too much.
Let's see. As soon as he says ready, you can take it away. Hope you guys are enjoying the games.
I'm sure they are.
There's still a lot more to come. I see a lot of like funny photoshops on Twitter and stuff. Where's Jeffrey? Yeah, up next it will be Rifkin taking on Coca, and then the loser of this matchup, me against iNcontroL, taking on that guy. So yeah, 2 guys advanced today. And then we'll be same in the next few groups, and then it's a single bracket from the quarterfinals onwards, where I will do a drawing again. And the only rules of that is that 2 guys that played in the same group cannot meet, I think it's until the grand finals. So it should be quite interesting.
So it's not rank 1 against rank 2, it's just everyone.
No, yeah, no, sorry, yeah, it is rank 1 against rank 2, but also that the guys that were in the same group shouldn't be able to meet. I think it's until the grand finals.
It makes sense.
Yeah, today is only group A. Okay, he's ready. Take it away, have fun.
I will. So you guys are going to have to do it with me again? It's worse things, you know? Could be worse. Could be no one casting. You could only be seeing the player view. Oh, wait. Actually, a pretty good series so far. I think this has been the highest level series. There's been some debatable decision within the series, but I think there's some good play being shown as well. Some nice strategies. The strategies closest to the meta, I think, have been shown here as well. Except maybe for, I guess, mainly ToD. iNcontroL strategies are a bit unorthodox, but they seem to work, so can't really complain at a guy for playing something that works for him, you know? Sequencer is one of those maps where I feel it's a bit hard to be aggressive on. So I'm curious what we're gonna see here. I'm really looking forward to some Disruptor Wars, but these guys seem very hesitant to play Disruptors. And again, iNcontroL with this really early scout. I'm not exactly sure, or maybe he's really scared of cannon rushes. That could be the only explanation I have, but I think it would just be better to patrol a probe around your base. Like, it's more useful. You're not going to see anything with your probe this early, I think. Or this, like, you won't be able to respond to anything except for a cannon rush this early. You could send it like after your second gate and you'd be just as fine, but I guess everyone has their reasons for the way they play. Yeah, this all looks standard, not like the first game where ToD went full PvP and built a Nexus at 20. This map, if there was one map, oh, what is this? Ah, iNcontroL is faking a cannon rush. What's he doing? Terrible fake. Oh my god, I can just. like no one's buying it. Oh wait, actually ToD lost his probe on the other side of the map while all of this was going on. Maybe that was the goal? You build the pylon to distract him, and then you surround the probe. Nah, that's mad. iNcontroL has it all figured out. It would have been even better if he would have asked a question just before he would have done it. So ToD was busy typing, and then he loses everything. That would be the best. But, you know, can't have it all. Freaking Jeff. So sick. So, ToD seems to be going for a 2 Stalker expand, which actually is a pretty popular build right now. After this, normally you get 1 Sentry, or at least I like to get 1 Sentry, and then another Stalker to be a bit safe. ToD just gets 2 Sentries, which is also fine. On a map like Sequencer, it's not like you can really die, so yeah, I'm definitely fine with this. A little bit of a supply block for ToD, forgot to build a 3rd pylon. Happens to the best, happens to the best. iNcontroL, on the other hand, is playing it safe. Seems like iNcontroL is a little scared of what ToD might do. Didn't really get any big information yet, didn't get any adepts. Just going to expand himself now as well, but his expand will be about 40-45 seconds later than ToD's. And he doesn't have any way to scout. ToD will have hallucinations relatively soon. With his sentry. So I'm kind of feeling ToD's position so far in this game. There's nothing iNcontroL really can achieve with his initial 4 Stalkers that he built before the Nexus. So it seems like iNcontroL just wants to play it safe, wants to take it to the longer game. He did win the first game, which was a longer game. But I'm not sure how much you want to copy that one, because it wasn't looking too hot for iNcontroL for a while. ToD goes for very fast charge. And this is something which is new, I guess. Maybe something I haven't seen before. A new build, a new strategy. Guess I have no clue what this could be good against. I'm very curious now. The best thing about it is that we can ask ToD about his decisions after the game. Because I know ToD is very keen on answering all my questions just after he potentially lost the game. I think that's the thing he's looking forward to the most. My questions. I think if he wins, he'll be fine. But if he loses and I start asking him dumb questions about his build, I don't think he'll be too happy. But we're not here to make friends. We're here to cast some StarCraft. Watch the best of the best casters in the world play. ToD actually getting a decent scout in with his hallucination right now. Sees the Nexus, sees robotics, sees a bunch of units on the ramp for iNcontroL. iNcontroL is very scared. Ah, here comes the Dark Shrine for ToD actually. There is a hallucination flying across the map. But I'm not sure if they will be able to see it. I think it will be. Yeah, it won't get denied. Let's see what iNcontroL. Yeah, okay. iNcontroL sees the Dark Shrine. And he sees it as well because he was controlling the Phoenix. He wasn't just queuing it across the map. I wouldn't be surprised to see another observer come out anytime soon now. ToD is getting a third base way before iNcontroL, as well as a forge. ToD is playing like a madman. This guy is he really has his own style as well. 2 adapts into the natural. Prism with charge in the main. Gets 2, 3 workers, I guess. 4. Loses the prism though, which is bad because you want to use it to warp in the DTs later. Yeah, I got 3, 4 workers. And bought some time for his third base to come up, which I guess is good. iNcontroL just starting his own third base right now. +1, quite a bit ahead for iNcontroL. And he has Blink as well, which is a more powerful upgrade at this stage in the game. Can really take down prisms, which has been one of ToD's favorite units so far in the game. ToD seems to just be adding more gateways, so it's going into this charge lot, immortal Blink style again. I wouldn't mind to see a couple of Archons with it. We didn't see any Archons last game, but I really think Archons pack a massive punch in army, especially if the other guy doesn't have disruptors. The Archon is basically the big daddy unit. It's the final boss, or well, the boss before the disruptor, and the boss above the disruptor, I guess, is the carrier or the mothership, or the Phoenix, which can lift the disruptor off. But I doubt we'll be seeing any of that. So I'm not sure what style Jeff is going for. He seems to just be stuck on Blink Stalkers and Immortals. ToD is getting a Templar Archives as well as a Fort base very quickly. I think this is exactly what you need to do when you play this style. You expand relatively fast, get a prism on the map, do a couple of run-bys, get a lot of money going, and we see ToD is really pumping out those probes. So he's setting up for the longer game. And Jeff is throwing down his own Templar Archives as well as Charge. So we're going to see Charge Archon Immortal against Charge Archon Immortal, I guess. iNcontroL is up in upgrades, but only slightly, so it won't matter too much the longer the game goes. But ToD's economy is going to be a bit better, as his forward base is a lot faster than iNcontrol's is going to. iNcontroL probably not even thinking of taking a forward base yet. Yeah, I'm kind of liking ToD's position in this game. Setting up for a run-by as well. And he's getting a new prism. And finally, the robotics bay. For ToD going down. Would love to see a second robo as well, to really get the double disruptor production going. ToD is actually playing this decently well. Has a few zealots spread across the map. He has decent map control. The moment he sees iNcontroL move out, he'll just move in with his own zealots, try to do some damage. And iNcontroL is really scared from the last few games to move out, because every time he moved out, there was some units, either adapts or DTs or zealots in the bases. So he's a bit hesitant to move out this time around, and that's going to buy a lot of time for ToD's disruptors to come out. Second robo being built as well, and just now iNcontroL managed to scout the robotics bay. But I'm not sure if he actually saw it or he just scouted it. There's a difference between those two, of course. Prism on the left side of the map for ToD, just waiting to get in action. iNcontroL is, like you guys can see it, but he's very blind. He hardly has any map vision, especially if you compare it with ToD, who has basically all the map vision. He has both the towers, there's a bunch of units around the map, scouting continuously for bases. Going to start a bit of a run-by, but just going to run... actually he's just trying to take down the rocks. Let's see if iNcontroL sees it. I don't think he's noticing it. Okay, yeah, he notices it now. Sees what's happening at his rocks and decides to pay a little visit to ToD's zealots. ToD is getting Colossus? We should get Colossus. Why do they do this? Yeah, I don't know. iNcontrol's getting disruptors though, and disruptors really do beat Colossus. ToD has a massive army on the right side of iNcontrol's 4. And I don't think iNcontrol spotted it at all, so there's going to be some nice multi-prong. Prism moving to go into the main, then there's an army above the natural, which will go into the natural. 6 zealots probably will go into the third base. He's attacking 4 places at the same time. This is actually really sick to watch. Like this is proper, you know. So the attack at the 4th base is going to be successful for sure. The attack in the natural will be foiled. The attack in the main, I think, will be stopped as well. But he will for sure get the 4th base, or I guess the 3rd base was for iNcontrol. And that base was a very important one. It gives a lot of gas, gives a lot of money, lots of... and now he can just recall if he wants to. Yeah, that's actually sick. Still something happening in the main base as well. Mothership Core fell for iNcontrol. What does iNcontrol really have to defend the main base at this point? Not much is the answer, and iNcontrol feels like all he can do is F2 across the map and start going ham at ToD. Completely supply blocked as well, iNcontrol that is. ToD is engaging into some weird base trade-esque situation. Or maybe he just accidentally moved his units there. It seems more likely at this point. He's doing a lot of damage on the other side of the map though. Couple of DTs, couple of zealots running in. But what does he really have at home? Is there any disruptors? Okay, there's 2 disruptors for ToD with his main army. I feel like ToD is just going to be fine at home. What is there really for iNcontrol to attack with? It should be the real question. The answer to that is not much. He really doesn't have anything to attack with. He can't break ToD as long as there's disruptors. And you don't have your own disruptors with the army. iNcontrol is going to have a really rough time defending, or well, fighting the ToD's army. There's a couple of Colossus in there as well, which won't be too powerful. I guess a lot of it is going to come down to the disruptor shots at this point. We see iNcontrol moving into the 4th base of ToD, takes down the pilots immediately, shoots 3 shots at the same time, which is a bit of an error. All of them miss. Let's see if ToD decides to jump on top of him or just sack the base and take his loss. Which probably is the wiser decision, as he already has another 4th base going on up on the right side. Still up a base, up about 40 supply. It's up in upgrades as well. It's well, he's about to be up in upgrades as he has double forge, pumping out double upgrades. So I'm very curious what ToD's next move is going to be. He has 5 Colossus, which are practically useless against disruptors. But if the iNcontrol's disruptors don't do any damage, these Colossus might just prove to be the winning ticket for ToD. Yeah, iNcontrol being very scared to even take his 4th base back, or his initial 3rd base back. Slowly moving back to his little fortress of 3 bases, which is going to be hard for ToD to break. ToD is just trying to deny the 4th base. Sees there is no 4th base, like, alright, there's no real need for me to do anything. Decides to still move forward, and iNcontrol is doing the same thing. So, actually, iNcontrol needs to go back now. It's going to be such a rough fight for iNcontrol, though. How's he ever going to engage into 2 disruptors and 5 Colossus? That's no easy task. Nice little run by, or well, nice big run by in the 3rd base of iNcontrol. So basically putting iNcontrol all in at this point, I feel like. There's no real way for iNcontrol to ever get an economy as strong as ToD, or have the infrastructure that ToD has. And ToD isn't really willing to engage iNcontrol army either. He's just dodging it and going for the base trade. He knows he's up so many bases, he can afford it. He has cannons, he has money, he has gateways. He's even getting some disruptors at home, which are great in base trades. So I don't see any way for iNcontrol to really win this base trade. ToD can just snipe the natural and the 3rd, recall home to his own natural and defend that, or recall home to his 3rd and defend that. He's going to be just fine. iNcontrol's Dark Shrine won't be put to any use as he's completely supply blocked, and it will just be taken out by ToD at this point. ToD building 6-7 cannons in his own natural, and the 2 disruptors really need to put in some work against the army that iNcontroL is there. Here we go. 1, 2 shots. Oh, and these shots are decent, not massive. Killed two Archons maybe, and 2 disruptors of iNcontroL. iNcontroL does have detection with his army. There's 2 more disruptors coming out for ToD very soon, and he worked in 10 zealots just now. It is actually going into full base trade scenario. We don't have any probes hidden on the map for iNcontroL. We don't have any probes in general left for iNcontroL. We still have a couple of probes left for ToD. He isn't running any away from the fort base right now, so he must be pretty confident in his ability to kill all the buildings. There we go, GG being called, and ToD wins by killing all the buildings. Pretty exciting final game if you ask me. And congratulations to ToD for being the first player to advance out of his group, probably having a little party by himself.
Oh man, that was close. Woo! Did he not have any buildings anywhere? I was like, why is he staying? I was thinking I'm dead.
Crazy, crazy. You actually were up in supply as well by like 50. But he had like 4 or 5 disruptors, so...
Yeah. I dodged him last second as well. Like, that was so close. I didn't even see his disruptors up until the point like he tried to detonate him.
Yeah, it was pretty sick game.
Alright, I think they already did vetoes for next series, which is going to be Rifkin against Koka, so we're going to head to a break, and when we come back it's a TVT up next in the lower bracket match, so see you guys in a bit.